Hmm. Hmm. Dear student, welcome again. So in the last lecture, number 5, okay, we have some technical problem with the computer, so we have to stop that lecture. So today I will take the remaining part of part 2 of lecture 5. Okay. See, as you remember in the last lecture, we have obtained the radius of the bright ray and dark ray. But before that, I give, I will give the important story of the Newton's ray. As you all know, that in Newton's ring experiment, in Newton's ring, Newton's rings are formed when a plano-convex lens, whose one surface is plane and other surface is convex. A plano-convex lens of large radius of curvature is put or is placed on a plane glass plate. Okay, so that between the lower surface of the lens and upper surface of the glass plate, between the lower surface of the lens and upper surface of the glass plate, a thin film of air is formed. This is the contact point of this is the contact point of lens and plate. At the contact point, there is no air between lens and plate, so the thickness of the air film at the contact point is Z. And as you go away from the contact point, as you move in the radial direction, as you move in radial direction, okay, away from as you go away from the contact point, the thickness of the air film continuously increases. Okay. I also explained that the point of equal thickness are forming a circle. Suppose at this, to connect the points of 1 mm thickness, they will form one circle. If you connect the points of 2 mm thickness, they will form the another circle. Right? So point of equal thickness, the equidistance points situated, the points situated at equal distance from the center, the thickness of the air film is constant. So suppose you take 1 centimeter, if you go 1 centimeter on the right side, the thickness of the air film is 1 mm. 1 centimeter left side, thickness of the air film is 1 mm. 1 centimeter upward direction, thickness is 1 mm. 1 centimeter downward direction, thickness is 1 mm. If you connect all points of 1 mm thickness, they will form one circle. Similarly, the points of 2 mm thickness will form the another circle. Okay. You know the theory very well. When the ray of light when the ray of light incident ray, okay? So when the ray of light is incident on the convex lens and glass plate system at point A, the incident ray is partly reflected in the direction AE and partly transmitted in the direction A. This thing you have studied. This thing you have studied in the theory of thin film. Again I repeat, when the ray of light PA, when the ray of light PA is incident on the glass lens plate system at point A, the ray of light PA is incident normally. The ray of light PA is incident normally on the lens and glass plate system. At point A, the incident ray is partly reflected in the direction A and partly transmitted in the direction A. From point B, the ray is again reflected, okay, and goes in the direction CD. Okay, so A is the first reflected ray, C is the second reflected ray. So the ray of light PA, is incident on the lens and plate system at point A, and the ray of light PA is incident on the lens and glass plate system, convex lens and glass plate system at point A of the lens. It partly reflects in the direction A and partly transmits in the direction A. Okay. From point B, it is again reflected in the direction CD. Okay, so we are getting two reflected rays. A is the first reflected ray, CD is the second reflected ray. So this is the air film of thickness T. Okay, this is the upper surface. This is the upper surface of the air film. So E ray is reflected from the upper surface of the air film from point A. And this one is the lower surface of the air film. Lower surface of the air film. So CD ray is reflected from the lower surface of the air film, right? So the incident ray PA is partly reflected from the upper surface of the air film from point A in the direction A, and from the lower surface of the air film it again reflects in the direction CD. So A ray is reflected from the upper surface of the air film, and CD ray is reflected from the lower surface of the air film. The path difference is these two rays are entering into your eye, they will produce the interference. If they interfere constructively, you will get bright ray. If these rays will interfere destructively, you will get a dark ray. Okay. So according to the theory of thin film, the path difference, this thing we have already done because this is the reason. The path difference between the first reflected ray from the upper surface of the air film and second reflected ray CD, which is reflected from the lower surface of the air film, is 2 mu t cos r plus lambda by 2. It's 2 mu t cos r plus lambda by 2. Now, 2 mu is the refractive index of the air film. What is the refractive index of the air film? 1. The refractive index of the air film is 1. Mu is the refractive index of the air film, and it is 1. The refractive index of the air film is 1. T. What is T? T is the thickness of the air film. Okay? T is the thickness of the air film, which is formed between the lower surface of the lens and upper surface of the glass. So T is the thickness of the air film at point A, which is formed between the lower surface of the lens and upper surface of the lens. It is the thickness of the air film, right? When the ray of light is incident, normally you know very well the angle of incidence is zero, because when the ray of light is incident in the direction of normal, the angle made by the incident ray with the normal is 0. And if angle of incidence is 0, from Snell's law, angle of reflection is also 0. So angle of reflection is 0 plus lambda by 2. So part difference is 2t plus lambda by 2. Part difference is 2t plus lambda by 2. Okay, the points. Okay, the part difference is 2t plus lambda by 2. The points where the part difference is n lambda, we get bright ring. Path difference is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. We will get a dark ring. That thing you know very well. Now next. One question, why the contact point of lens and plate is always dark. Let us take one small question. Let us discuss one small question. Why the contact point? Why the contact point? This is the contact point. Contact point where the lens and plate are in contact with each other. The thickness of that is 0. So the contact point of the lens and plate is always dark. So we have to answer this question, that why the contact point of lens and plate where the thickness of that is 0 is always dark. Okay. Let us give the answer. The thickness of the airfield at contact point is 0. Right? You can see from the diagram that this is the convex lens which is put on the plane glass plate. So when the plano convex lens is placed on the optically plane glass plate, at the contact point where the lens and plate are in contact with each other, there is no air, so thickness of the airfield is 0 at the contact point. So what is the path difference at contact point? Therefore, path difference at contact point is equal to 2t plus lambda by 2. 2t plus lambda by 2. But the thickness of the airfield at the contact point is 0. So path difference at the contact point will be 0 plus lambda by 2. That will be lambda by 2. So path difference at the contact point where the lens and plate are in contact with each other, the thickness of the airfield is 0. So path difference at the contact point of lens and plate is 2t plus lambda by 2, but the thickness of the airfield at the contact point is 0. So path difference is 0 plus lambda by 2. So lambda by 2. Okay, you know very well. When path difference is lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda, n lambda, constructive interference will occur. Okay. And when path difference is lambda by 2, 3 lambda by 2, 5 lambda by 2, then destructive interference will occur. Here at the contact point the thickness of the airfield is 0. Path difference at the contact point is 2t plus lambda by 2. The thickness of the airfield at the contact point is 0. So path difference at the contact point will be 0 plus lambda by 2. That is lambda by 2. And lambda by 2 is the condition of destructive interference. So mention that. So this is the condition of destructive interference. This is the condition of destructive interference. So at the contact point, path difference is lambda by 2. At the contact point, the path difference between the reflected ray AE and CD. At the contact point, the path difference between the first reflected AE and second reflected CD is lambda by 2. And the path difference, between the reflected ray AE and CD is lambda by 2. Then lambda by 2 is the condition of destructive interference. So destructive interference will occur at center or contact point. Therefore, contact point is always dark. Therefore, if destructive interference is occurring at the contact point, therefore contact point is always dark due to destructive interference. Right? So this is the answer, that at the contact point of planar convex lens and glass plate, the thickness of the airfield is 0. So path difference at the contact point is 2t plus lambda by 2, but the thickness of the airfield at the contact point is 0. So path difference at the contact point will be 0 plus lambda by 2. 0 plus lambda by 2, that is lambda by 2. And this lambda by 2 is the condition, path difference lambda by 2 is the condition of destructive interference. So at the contact point, constructive interference will occur. So at the contact point, always constructive destructive interference will occur, and therefore the contact point is always dark, because at the contact point part difference is lambda by 2, and lambda by 2 is the part difference of destructive interference. So at the contact point, always destructive interference will occur, and the contact point is always dark. Next, the last lecture we have obtained the value of 2t. 2t. The value of 2t was small r square upon capital R. Okay. So from the geometry of this figure, we have obtained the value of 2t, that was small r square upon capital. What is small rn? Small rn is the radius of Newton ring. Small rn is the radius of Newton ring. Suppose this is a Newton ring. This is a Newton ring around the contact point. Then small rn is the radius of the Newton ring. So small r is the radius of the Newton, right ring or dark ring, and capital R is the radius of curvature of lens. So small rn is the radius of Newton's right ring or dark ring. Small rn is the radius of Newton's right ring or dark ring, and capital R is the radius of curvature of the convex lens. This part difference, so Newton's ring experiment, the expression for the optimal part difference is small r square upon r plus lambda by 2. Okay. This part difference, I write the condition for right ring. Path difference, small r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is equal to n lambda. The points at which the path difference small r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is n lambda. Okay, at that points constructive interference will occur, and all that points, okay, will form a bright ring of radius Rn. Okay, the points at which the path difference small r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is n lambda. At that points constructive interference will occur, and z points will form a bright ring of radius Rn. Similarly, the points at which the path difference small r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is not n lambda but 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Right? The points at which the path difference small r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is not n lambda but 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. At that points, destructive interference will occur, and that points will form a dark ring of radius Rn. In the last lecture, we have solved this and obtained the radius of, here Rn is the radius of bright ring, and here Rn is the radius of dark ring. Okay, so let us obtain the radius of the bright ring. So small r square upon capital R is equal to n lambda minus lambda by 2. N lambda minus lambda by 2. Okay, therefore small r square upon capital R is equal to, if I take lambda by 2 common, I have 2n minus 1 inside the bracket, right? Okay, so small r square is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda. I take this radius of curvature on right side, so lambda by 2. Okay, so what is the condition of bright ring? The condition of bright ring is small r square upon path difference small r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is equal to n lambda. That point, the constructive interference will occur, and that point will form a bright ring of radius Rn. So small r square upon capital R is equal to lambda minus lambda by 2. So small rn square upon okay. So condition of right ring is the points at which bar difference small r square upon lambda by 2 is n lambda. At that points constructive interference will occur and that points will form a right ring of radius Rn. So small r square upon capital N is equal to n lambda minus lambda by 2. Okay, so I have taken lambda by 2 on right side, so it is minus 2 plus lambda by 2 will become minus lambda by 2. So small r square upon capital is equal to, if I from n lambda minus lambda by 2, if I take lambda by 2 factor common, then I have 2n minus 1 inside the bracket. So small r square upon capital is equal to n lambda minus lambda by 2. If I take lambda by 2 common, I have 2n minus 1 in the bracket. So r square is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda r by 2. Therefore, if I take the under root on both the sides, radius of nth order right ring Rn is equal to, okay, I take under root on this side, under 2n minus 1 under root lambda r. So this equation gives the radius of the nth order right ring. What is n? N is the right ring number. Suppose you take the first right ring, then n is equal to 1. For the second right ring, n is equal to 2. For the third right ring, n is equal to 3. So this n is the number of the ring, right ring, or order of the right ring, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Suppose I want to calculate the, yes. So this equation gives the radius of the bright rings of the order n. So this equation gives the radius of nth order or nth number bright ring. It is under 2n minus 1 under lambda by 2. Okay. For the first bright ring, n is 1. So radius of the first bright ring n is equal to 1. The radius of the first right ring. If you put n is 1 here, what is the radius of first right ring? Let us put n is 1 under 2 into 1. 2 minus 1. So under 1 under lambda by 2. Okay. So the radius of the first right ring n is 1 is under 2. N is equal to 1. So 2 into 1 will be 2 minus 1 will be under 1 under lambda by 2. Remember what is lambda here? Lambda is the wavelength of the light and r is the radius of curvature of the lens. Similarly, radius of the second right ring is under root 2 into 2. 2 into 2 will be 4 minus 1 will be under root 3 under root lambda r by 2. This lambda r by 2 is the constant term. And for n is equal to 3. Okay. So the radius of the first right ring will be under root 2 into 1. 2 minus 1 under root 1 under root lambda r by 2. Radius of the second right ring will be 2 into 2. 4 minus 1 under root 3 under root lambda r by 2. Similarly, radius of the third right ring under root 2 into 3, 6 minus 1, that is under root 5 under root lambda r by 2, right? So what is 135? This 135 are the odd natural numbers. Therefore we can say the radius of the bright rings, radii of the consecutive bright rings, radii of the consecutive Newton's bright rings 1, 2, 3 are proportional to the square root of odd natural numbers 1, 3 and 5. So radii of Newton's bright ring 1, 2, 3 are proportional to the square root of odd natural numbers 1, 3 and 5. Okay. Similarly, you can find the radius of the dark ring. What is the condition of dark ring? The points at which the path difference small r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is not n lambda but 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. At that point, destructive interference will occur and that points will form a dark ring of radius Rn. So here Rn is the radius of the dark ring. Okay. If you simplify this, you will get Rn square upon capital R plus lambda by 2. This 2n into lambda by 2, 2 is cancelled. So n lambda plus lambda by 2. So 2n plus lambda by 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2, 2n into lambda by 2. So this 2 is cancelled, so n into lambda plus 1 into lambda by 2 will be lambda by 2. Lambda by 2 is cancelled from both the sides. So small r n square upon capital R is equal to n lambda. Okay, and therefore small r n square is equal to n lambda r. So this equation gives the radius of the dark ring. Actually this is the square, so we have to take the under root. Okay, so now I write radius of the nth order dark ring Rn is equal to, I have to take under root on both the sides, so under root n, under root lambda, right? So radius of the dark ring, radius of the nth order dark ring is small r n is equal to under root n, under root lambda r, right? Okay, so if you are asked to calculate the radius of the bright ring, you have to use the equation under root 2n minus 1 under root lambda r by 2, and radius of the nth order, nth number dark ring Rn is under root n, under root lambda r. Okay, now if you want to find out that n is 1, 2, 3, suppose you want to calculate the radius of the first dark ring, I take n is equal to 1. So radius of the first dark ring is equal to, okay, so for the first dark ring, for the radius of the first dark ring, n is 1. So it is under root 1 under root lambda r. Similarly, radius of the second dark ring, we have to put n is equal to 2. So n is equal to 1 means first dark ring. For the second dark ring, n is equal to 2. So radius of the second dark ring is R2 is equal to under root 2 into under root lambda, and radius of the third dark ring is under root 3 under root lambda. So this 1 is a odd number, 2 is a even number, 3 is a odd number, then under root 4 is a odd number. Sorry, 1 is a odd number, 2 is a even number, 3 is a odd number, 4 is a even number. Means we can say that the radius of the dark rings are proportional to the square root of natural numbers. Okay, it includes the odd numbers as well as even numbers. Okay, so we mentioned that. So we mentioned the property that radius of or radii of consecutive dark rings are proportional to square root of natural numbers. So this is our conclusion, that radius of the conclusion is this, that radius of the consecutive Newton's dark ring, the radius of the first dark ring is under root 1 under root lambda, radius of the second dark ring is under root 2 under root lambda, radius of the third Newton's dark ring R3 dark is under root 3 under root lambda is proportional to the square root of natural numbers, odd number and even numbers both. 1 is a odd number, 2 is a even number, 3 is a odd number, 4 is a even number. So we can write down the radii of consecutive Newton's dark rings are proportional to the square root of natural numbers, including odd numbers and even numbers. Why? The radii of bright rings is proportional to the square root of only odd natural numbers, not even numbers, but odd natural numbers. Under root 1, under root 3, under root 5. Okay. Suppose you are asked, okay, so we have derived the equation for the radius of the bright ring was under root 2n minus 1 under root lambda r by 2. So radius of the bright ring is given by under root 2n minus 1 under root lambda r by 2, and radius of the dark ring is given by under root n under root lambda. So please remember this equation for examples or objectives. The radius of the bright ring Rn is under 2n minus 1 under root lambda r by 2, where n is the bright ring number or order of the bright ring, and radius of the dark ring Rn is given by under root n under root lambda. I will give you a small exercise. Find the ratio of radius of third bright ring and third dark ring in Newton's ring experiment, right? What you are asked? You are asked to find. You are asked to find the ratio of the radius of the third bright ring and third dark ring in Newton's ring experiment. Okay. So as you can see here, we have derived the equation for the radius of bright ring and dark ring. The radius of nth order bright ring Rn is calculated from under 2n minus 1 under lambda by 2. The radius of the nth order bright ring Rn is obtained from equation under 2n minus 1 under lambda by 2. You are asked the radius of third bright ring. For third bright ring, n is equal to 3. So what is the radius of third bright ring? The radius of third bright ring R3 bright is under 2 into 3. 6 minus 1, so under 5 under lambda by 2. Radius of third bright ring is under root 5 under root lambda r by 2. And then you have to take the ratio of radius of third bright ring and third dark ring. What is the radius of dark ring? The radius of the nth order dark ring is under root n under root lambda. Okay, you are given third dark ring. So for third dark ring n is 3. So radius of the third dark ring, is under root 3 under root lambda. So radius of the third dark ring. Radius of the third dark ring is under root n is 3. So under root 3 under root lambda. Okay. So the radius of the third bright ring is under root 5 under root lambda by 2. Radius of the third bright ring is under 5 under 2n minus 1 is 2 into 3, 6 minus 1 under root 5 under root lambda by 2. And radius of the third dark ring is under root 3 under root lambda. And you are asked to calculate the ratio of these two radius. Okay. So let us take the ratio of these two radius. Ratio. Right? So radius of the third bright ring is under 5 under lambda by 2, and radius of the third dark ring is under 3 under lambda. So this under lambda is cancelled. So the ratio comes under root 5 2 into 3. So that ratio comes under 5 by 6.912. Yes, I have verified the answer. Yes, the radius, which is 0.912. So radius of the third bright ring is under 5 under lambda by 2. Radius of the third dark ring is under 3 under lambda, and lambda is cancelled. So the ratio of the radius of third bright ring and third dark ring is under 5 by 2 into 3 will be 6. So under 5 by 6 will be 0.912. Similarly, you can calculate in examination, you can be asked to find the ratio of fifth bright ring and fifth dark ring. You can do the same thing. You can be asked to find the ratio of the radius of fifth bright ring and fifth dark ring. Tell me, what is the radius of fifth bright ring? The radius of the fifth bright ring will be obtained from that equation under 2n minus 1 under lambda by 2. If you put n is equal to 5, n is equal to 5, it is under 2 into 5, 10 minus 1 under 9 under lambda by 2. And radius of the fifth dark ring will be under 5 under lambda. Okay? You can easily calculate the ratio. One more example we take. Second example. Okay, in the second example, I give you the radius of tenth Newton's dark ring. Dark ring is 0.2 centimeter. 0.2 centimeter. Okay, you are given the radius of the 10th dark ring. Radius of the 10th dark ring is given to you. It is 0.2 centimeter. Wavelength of light used. Wavelength of light. Employed is 4000 angstrom. Find radius of curvature of convex lens. Find radius of curvature of convex lens. So what you are asked, please check. You are asked that the radius of 10th Newton dark ring, radius of 10th Newton dark ring is 0.2 centimeter. Radius of the 10th Newton dark ring is 0.2 centimeter. The wavelength of the light used in the Newton's ring experiment is 4000 angstrom. Then what will be the radius of curvature of the convex lens? So for solution, okay. So for dark ring, okay, which condition do you use for dark ring? For dark ring, which interference will occur? Destructive interference occur. So for dark ring, the path difference small r n square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is not n lambda but 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. So for bright ring, path difference is small r n square upon capital plus lambda by 2 is n lambda. But for dark ring, the path difference small r n square upon capital plus lambda by 2 is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. At that point, destructive interference will occur, and all that points will appear dark, right? So the points at which the path difference small r n square upon capital plus lambda by 2 is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Okay, destructive interference will occur at all that points, and all that points will form a dark ring of radius r. Okay, so r n square upon capital R. So for dark ring, you have to use the equation small r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is equal to n plus 2 lambda by 2. And for bright ring, you have to use the equation small r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is equal to n. Okay? But here you are given the 10th dark ring. So for dark ring, destructive interference occur, and the points at which the path difference small r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. The destructive interference will occur at that points, and that points will appear. That points will form a dark ring of radius r. So r square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is 2n into lambda by 2 will be, what is 2n into lambda by 2? N lambda plus lambda by 2. So this is cancelled. So small r square upon capital R is n lambda. So small r square is equal to n lambda r. We will use this equation. Okay. Once again I repeat, what is small rn? Small rn is the radius of the dark ring. Okay. N is the number of ring, lambda is the wavelength of light, r is the radius of curvature. So we will use this equation. So small r n square is equal to n lambda. Small r n square is equal to n lambda r. Now small r n. Okay, now here in our example we are given 10th dark ring. So n is 10. The radius of the 10th dark ring is 0.2 centimeter. 0.2 centimeter. The wavelength of light is 4000 angstrom. And you are asked to calculate the radius of curvature of the convex lens, right? You are given the 10th dark ring. So the order of the dark ring is 10. You are given the radius of the 10th Newton dark ring is 0.2 centimeters. So the order of the dark ring is 10. Radius of the 10th dark ring is 0.2 centimeter. The wavelength of light is 4000 angstrom, and you are asked to calculate the radius of curvature of the lens. Okay. So now I put here the radius of the 10th dark ring is 0.2 centimeters. So here I put 0.2 centimeters square is equal to the radius of the 10th dark ring. Radius of the 10th Newton dark ring is 0.2 centimeters square. The order number of the dark ring is 10. Number of the dark ring is 10. So I put n is equal to 10. The wavelength of light is 4000 angstrom. Wavelength of light is 4000. So 4000 into 10 to minus 8 centimeter. And r is the radius of curvature of the lens. R is the radius of curvature of the lens. If you calculate, you will get the radius of curvature r of the lens 100 centimeter or 1 meter. 1 meter. Okay, now instead of giving the radius of the 10th dark ring, okay, if I give you the radius of curvature of the lens 1 meter, instead of giving the radius of the 10th dark ring, if I give you the radius of curvature of the lens 100 centimeter or 1 meter, you can calculate the radius of the 10th dark ring using this equation Rn square u n lambda r. But please remember, for bright ring, you have to use the equation Rn square upon capital plus lambda by 2 is equal to n lambda. And for dark ring, you have to use the equation Rn square upon capital plus lambda by 2 is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Next article is very important. That is the last article of Newton's ring. Okay, the applications of Newton's ring experiment. Right? Applications of Newton's ring experiment. What are the uses? What are the uses? Or you can say, what are the applications? What are the applications of this Newton's ring experiment? What are the applications of Newton's ring experiment? So there are two applications. There are two applications of Newton's ring experiment. One is we can find the unknown wavelength of light using the Newton's ring experiment. Okay, when you come to the laboratory, okay, when the situation is normal, and when you come to the college, when you perform the experiment of Newton's ring experiment in the laboratory, you will be able to see the Newton's ring. Okay, you will obtain the Newton's ring yourself in the experiment, and you will measure the diameter of the Newton's ring, and you can also study the application of Newton's ring experiment in the laboratory. So first application is this. The first application to find unknown wavelength. To find unknown wavelength of light using Newton's ring experiment, right? So first application of Newton's ring experiment is to find the unknown wavelength of light. Suppose you are given red light, yellow light, violet light, unknown light whose wavelength is unknown. Then you can find or calculate the unknown wavelength of the given light using the Newton's ring experiment. But for that, what you have to do? First of all, you have to obtain the Newton's ring, and then, okay, you have to calculate the unknown wavelength of light using the Newton's ring experiment, right? So let us discuss the first application of Newton's ring experiment is to find the unknown wavelength of light using the Newton's ring experiment. So first of all, I will show you the experimental arrangement how to obtain the Newton's ring. Actually, when you come to the laboratory, when you see the instrument, you will come to know how to obtain the Newton's ring in the experiment. Okay, so I will give you the experimental setup to obtain the Newton's ring. Okay, for that, okay, here I consider a source, light source as, okay, from which the light rays are emitted. Here is a lens. This lens is making the rays parallel. So this lens makes the incident rays parallel. Okay, so what is this? This is a unknown light source. This is a light source. Whose wavelength lambda is to be measured. So this is unknown source of light. It may be the sodium light source which gives the yellow light. It may be the red source. Okay, it may be the violet source. It has any color, but this is unknown light source. Okay, whose wavelength lambda is unknown, and that we want to measure. Suppose this is a sodium light source which gives the yellow light, then the wavelength of sodium yellow light is to be measured. Okay, so this is the unknown light source which emits the rays in all directions. These rays become parallel by this lens L1. Okay, then these rays are incident on one glass plate Q. Okay, so this is the glass plate Q. So this is a glass plate Q which is inclined at 45 degree. So this is a glass plate Q which is inclined at 45 degree. Okay, now these rays are incident on the glass plate Q which is inclined at 45 degree. Okay, so these incident rays will be reflected in the downward direction. So this is the unknown light source. This is an unknown light source from which the light rays are emitted. These light rays become parallel by this lens L1. So from the unknown light sources, this is unknown monochromatic light sources which emits the rays in all directions. These rays are become parallel by lens L1. This parallel rays of light is incident on a plate Q which is inclined at 45 degree. These rays are reflected in the downward direction. Okay? These rays are reflected in the downward direction. Now here we have lens and plate system. As you know that in Newton's ring experiment we have a plain glass plate. In Newton's ring experiment we have plain glass plate, okay, and a convex lens. And the convex lens, plano-convex lens of large radius of curvature is placed on it. Okay, so both these rays are incident on the lens and plate system. From the lens and plate system, these rays are reflected in upward direction. These rays are reflected okay. So these rays are reflected in upward direction. Here we have a microscope. Here we have a microscope. This is a microscope through which we can see the rays. This is the window of the microscope in which the reflected rays are entering. This is the reflected ray 1. This is the reflected ray 2 as we have seen in the theory. Right? Okay, so this is the experimental arrangement. This is the experimental arrangement for the to measure the wavelength of light. This is the experimental arrangement to measure the wavelength of light. Okay, unknown light. So once again I repeat the experimental arrangement. When you come to the laboratory, you have to perform this experiment yourself. When you come to the laboratory, you will find this instrument in the laboratory. Okay, you will be given unknown light source. The unknown light source emits the rays in all directions. These light rays are becoming parallel, are rendered parallel by the lens. These parallel rays are incident on the glass plate. These parallel rays are incident on the glass plate, which is inclined at 45 degrees. These incident rays are reflected in downward direction, and they will fall on the lens and plate system. Okay, this will fall on the lens and plate system. This is the lens and plate. Okay, so one ray is reflected from the upper surface of the airfilm and the second ray is reflected from the lower surface. I have shown the first ray which is reflected from the upper surface of the airfilm and second ray is reflected from the lower surface of the airfilm. These two rays will interfere and give the Newton's bright and dark rays. So I write important points of the explanation. As shown in the figure, the light rays emitted from monochromatic sources the light rays emitted from monochromatic sources become parallel, render parallel by Lense angle, right? So the rays of light emitted from unknown monochromatic light sources will become parallel by Lense angle. The rays of light emitted from unknown light sources will become parallel by Lense angle, and these parallel rays are incident on glass plate Q inclined at 45 degrees. So second point, we write these parallel rays are incident on plate Q inclined at 45 degrees. Okay, so these parallel rays are incident on the glass plate Q inclined at 45 degrees. So these parallel rays of light is incident on the glass plate Q which is inclined at 45 degrees. Now what will happen? When these rays are incident on the glass plate, they will be reflected in the downward direction, right? So these rays are reflected in the downward direction, right? So when this ray is incident on the glass plate, it is reflected in downward direction. When this parallel ray is incident on the glass plate, it is reflected in downward direction. So these rays are reflected in downward direction and falls normally. Okay, so these rays are reflected in downward direction and these rays are and falls normally on a lens plate system. Right? So this parallel rays of light is incident on the glass plate at 45 degree will be reflected in the downward direction. These rays will be reflected in the downward direction and these reflected rays will fall normally on the lens and plate system. Now what will happen? There is air field between the lower surface of the lens and upper surface of the plate. So one ray is reflected from the upper surface of the air field and second ray is reflected from the lower surface of the air field. So these two reflected rays, out of which one ray is reflected from the upper surface of the air film and second ray is reflected from the lower surface of the air film, they interfere and produce the interference. So interference produced by thin film of air between lens and plate. There is a thin film of air between lens and plate. So interference produced by the thin film of air. The one ray is reflected from the upper surface of the air film and second ray is reflected from the lower surface of the air film, that we all discussed in the theory. Okay, so interference produced by the thin film of air. One ray is reflected from the upper surface of the air film and second ray is reflected from the lower surface of the air film will give Newton's bright and dark rays. Newton's bright and dark rays. We can say that the points that the constructive interference will occur, that points will give a right ring, and the points at which, okay, we already discussed the points at which the path difference small r n square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is n lambda, there we get a bright ring, and the points at which the path difference small r n square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, there we get a dark ring. Now these rings, if you focus the microscope and keep your eye here, okay, if you focus the microscope on the reflected ray 1 and 2, the first reflected ray is reflected from the upper surface of the air film, and second reflected ray is reflected from the lower surface of the air film. They produce the interference and they will give bright ring or dark ring. This can be seen through the microscope, but you have to focus the microscope on their reflected rays and at the center of the lens and plate. Okay, so Newton's ring are observed. Newton's bright and dark rings are observed. By focusing microscope on it. By focusing microscope on it. So you will be able to see the bright ring or dark ring if you focus the microscope on the lens and plate system. If you focus the microscope on the lens and plate system, due to the interference produced by the air film, you will be able to see the bright ring and dark ring in the microscope, and you will also be able to measure the diameter of the ring using the microscope. Okay, and last one, the diameters of some dark rings are measured with microscope. So when you come to the laboratory, when you perform this experiment, okay, and once you observe the ring through the microscope, okay, we will ask you, we will tell you to measure the diameter of first dark ring, measure the diameter of second dark ring. In laboratory, we are measuring the diameter of 10th dark ring, first dark ring, second dark ring, third dark ring, up to 10 dark ring. So in laboratory, we are measuring the diameter of first dark ring to 10th dark ring. So we are measuring the diameter of 10th dark rings in the laboratory using the microscope. Okay. Now we concentrate on the dark rings. We concentrate on the at the center. As you know, that center is always dark. Then we have the first dark ring, second dark ring, third dark ring. This type of things we will observe around the contact point. This type of dark rings we will observe around the contact point. Okay. So we consider dark rings. For dark ring, what is the condition? Okay, for dark ring, for nth order dark ring, part difference small r n square upon capital R plus lambda by 2 is equal to n lambda. For dark ring, the part difference small r n square upon capital plus lambda by 2 is n lambda. Sorry, not n lambda. Sorry, this is the condition of bright ring. We want to write the condition of dark ring. So for dark ring, the part difference will be 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Okay, so the points at which the path difference small r n square upon capital plus lambda by 2 is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Destructive interference will occur at that points, and all that points, okay, form a dark ring of order n. So the points at which the path difference small r n square upon capital plus lambda by 2 is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. That points destructive interference occur, and all that points, okay, will form a dark ring of radius r. Now this 2n plus 1 lambda by 2 can be written as 2n into lambda by 2 will be is cancelled. So 2n into lambda by 2 will be n lambda plus 1 into lambda by 2 will be lambda by 2. Lambda by 2 is cancelled. So small r n square upon capital R is equal to n lambda. So small r n square is equal to n lambda r. So this equation gives the radius of the nth order dark ring, right? This equation gives the radius of the nth order dark ring. This equation we have already measured, or we have already obtained. So the radius of the nth order dark ring, radius of the nth order dark ring, small rn square is equal to n lambda r. Once again I repeat, what is rn? Is the radius of the nth dark ring. Small rn is the radius of the nth order dark ring. Small r is the radius of the nth order dark ring, n is the order of the ring, the dark ring number. Suppose it is a 10th ring, then n is 10. Lambda is the wavelength of light, r is the radius of curvature of the light. If I multiply this by 4, multiply by 4, we get 4rn square is equal to 4n lambda r. If I multiply with 4, I will get 4rn square. Let us multiply both sides with 4. We get 4rn square is equal to 4rn square, 4n lambda r. Now what is this 4rn? 4rn is equal to 2rn square. 2rn square is equal to 4n lambda r. What is this 2rn? 2rn? Okay, if rn is the radius of the nth dark ring, this is the nth dark ring. What is 2rn? It is the diameter of the dark ring, dn square is equal to 4n lambda r. So this equation gives the diameter of the nth order dark ring. Once again I repeat, for nth order dark ring, according to the condition of destructive interference, part difference small r square upon capital plus lambda by 2 is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. At that point destructive interference occur, at that point will give a dark ring of radius of order n. So small r square is equal to n lambda r is the radius of the nth order dark ring. If you multiply by 4 on both sides, we get 4rn square is equal to 4n lambda r. What is 4rn? This 2rn square is equal to 4n lambda r. If rn is the radius of the nth dark ring, then 2rn is the diameter of the nth order dark ring. So dn square is 4n lambda r. Okay. So I write this diameter here. The first equation. For nth order dark ring, the diameter of nth dark ring, suppose n is equal to, I am taking 10th dark ring, is d small n square is equal to 4n lambda r. This is my question number 1. Okay. Right? So I have written the equation of the diameter of n is equal to 10th order dark ring. Diameter of n is equal to 10th order dark ring. dn square is 4n lambda. What is n? Order of the ring. Suppose you are measuring the diameter of 10th ring, then n is equal to 10. Lambda is the wavelength of light and r is the radius of curvature. Now, if I am considering two rings, One ring I consider n is equal to 10th dark ring. And its radius is, sorry, its diameter is, radius is rn, so diameter will be d. Okay. And second ring I am considering n plus n. N is 10. Suppose I take n is equal to 5, so 15th dark ring. So its diameter will be r n plus n. Right. So I am considering two rings. First dark ring I am taking n is equal to 10th dark ring. Its radius is rn. Radius is rn. And second dark ring I am taking n plus n. 10 plus 5, 15 dark ring, which diameter is rn plus n, right? So I write the second equation now. Okay, the first equation we have already derived. That for n is equal to 10th dark ring, the diameter of n is equal to 10th dark ring, small dn square is 4n lambda, where n is the order of the ring, that is 10. Lambda is the wavelength of light and r is the radius of curvature. Now I am taking another dark ring, right? The first dark ring I have taken n is equal to 10, its radius is rn and diameter dn square is 4n lambda. Okay, where n is the order of the ring, that is 10, lambda is the wavelength of light, r is the radius of curvature. The second dark ring I am taking of the order n plus n. The second dark ring I am considering of the order n plus m. Now n is 10. Suppose I think n is equal to 5, then that is the 15th dark ring. So let us consider the second dark ring of the order n plus m. Let us consider the second dark ring of order n plus m. Now n is 10. Let us take n equal to 5. So 10 plus 5 will be, I am considering the 15th dark ring. Okay? And its radius is Rn plus m. So what will be the diameter of this ring? Right? So second I write for n plus m. That is 10 plus 5. 15th dark ring. What is the diameter of n plus m order? What is the diameter of n dark ring? dn square is 4n lambda. So if you want to write the diameter of n plus m order dark ring, you have to replace this n by n plus m. So diameter of n plus m dark ring will be d. Replace n by n plus m is equal to 4. Replace this n by n plus m lambda as it is. Okay, so I have written the diameter of two dark rings. First, let us consider the Newton dark. Let us consider dark ring of n is equal to 10th order. The diameter of n is equal to 10th order dark ring. dn square is 4n lambda. Where n is the order of the dark ring, that is 10. Lambda is the wavelength of light. R is the radius of curvature. Now let us consider the second dark ring of order n plus m. Now n is 10. If we take n is equal to 5, then this second ring will be the 15th order dark ring. So first ring I have considered 10th dark ring, and second ring I am considering 10 plus 5, 15th order dark ring. Okay? The diameter, radius of this dark ring will be Rn plus m. So the diameter of n plus m order dark ring will be 4. You have to replace n by n plus m lambda. So we have two equations now. Okay? We have to take the reading of only two rings to find the wavelength of unknown wavelength of light. Number one, that the diameter of n is equal to 10th order dark ring, dn square is 4n lambda. And let us consider the second dark ring of order n plus m. That is 10 plus 5, 15 dark ring. And its diameter is d. Replace n by n plus m. So dn plus m square. Therefore, again replace this n by n plus m lambda. Right? Okay. Now tell me, what is n is equal to 10? Is the order of the first ring. And what is n plus m? It is the order of the second ring, that is 15. Then what is this m? Please remember, this m is not the ring number. See, we have two rings. n is equal to 10 is the ring number. n plus m is equal to 15 is the second ring number. n is equal to 10 is the ring number of the first ring, and n plus m is equal to 15 is the ring number of the second ring. So what is m? It is a difference of orders of two rings. The order of the first dark ring is 10, and order of the second dark ring is n plus m 15. So what is the difference of the order of two dark rings? 15 minus 10, that is 5. So please remember, this 5 is not the order of the ring. It is not ring number. It is the difference of the orders of two rings. Suppose I consider the first ring of order n is equal to 10, and I consider the second dark ring of order n plus m, 10 plus 5, 15. Then what is the difference of the orders of two rings? 15 minus 10, that is 5. Okay. So I think this thing is clear to you, that the diameter of the n is equal to 10th order dark ring dn square. Diameter of n 10th order dark ring dn square is 4n lambda, and diameter of n plus m, that is 10 plus 5. 15th order dark ring is d. Replace n by n plus m square. 4. Again here replace n by n plus m lambda. So diameter of n order dark ring dn square is 4n lambda, and diameter of n plus m order dark ring dn plus m square is 4n plus m lambda. Where m, please remember, m is not the ring number. It is the difference of ring number. The order of the first ring is 10, order of the second is 15. So the difference of ring number will be 15 minus 10, that is 5. If you take the difference of these two, okay. So finally, 2 minus 1, equation 2 minus 1 will give me diameter of n order dark ring dn square is 4n lambda, and diameter of n plus m, 10 plus m, 15th order dark ring dn plus m square is 4n plus m lambda. So I take the difference of equation 2 minus equation 1. So dn plus m square minus dn square is equal to 4n plus m lambda minus 4n lambda. So diameter of n plus m order dark ring dn n plus m square is Diameter of n plus m for the dark ring dn plus m square is 4n plus lambda minus diameter of n for the dark ring dn square is 4n lambda. If you simplify this, d n plus m square minus dn square is equal to 4 n lambda plus 4 m lambda minus 4 n lambda. dn plus m square minus dn square is 4n into lambda plus 4m into lambda minus 4n lambda. 4n lambda is cancelled. So dn plus m square minus dn square is equal to 4m lambda r. Okay. From this equation, you can find the unknown wavelength of light. Unknown wavelength of light lambda. Unknown wavelength of light is d n plus m whole square minus dn square upon 4m, right? So using this equation, we will be able to find the wavelength of unknown light. Okay, using the last equation, we will be able to find the wavelength of unknown wavelength of the monochromatic source, and it is calculated by the equation dn plus m square minus dn square over 4m. Once again, repeat, what is dn plus m square? It is the diameter of n plus mth order dark ring. That is the 15th dark ring. dn square is the diameter of nth order dark ring. That is the 10th dark ring. And 4m r. M is not the ring number. It is the difference of ring number. M is the difference of ring number. Suppose I am measuring diameter of 10th ring and 15th ring. Then what is the difference of ring number? 15 minus 10, that is 5. 15 minus 10, that is 5. And r is the radius of curvature, right? So diameter of n plus m for the dark ring dn m plus m square will be 4n plus m lambda. Diameter of n plus m for the dark ring dn plus m square is 4n plus m lambda minus diameter of n for the dark ring dn square is 4n lambda. This 4n lambda is cancelled. So dn plus m square minus dn square is 4m lambda. So wavelength lambda of the unknown light, is calculated from dn plus m square minus dn square upon 4m. Please be careful here. M is not ring number, it is the difference of the ring number. And finally, we take the last example and then stop. Okay. Example, we have solved 2 examples. Now we take third example. The radius of curvature of lens r is 1 meter. You are given the radius of curvature of the lens. Radius of curvature of the lens is 1 meter. The diameters of 5th and 10th dark ring, n is equal to 5th dark ring is the diameter of the 5th dark ring is 0.4 centimeter, and diameter of 10th dark ring, 10th ring, that is dn plus m is 0.5 centimeter. Okay. So calculate unknown wavelength of light. Unknown wavelength of light. Okay. So what you are asked? You are given the radius of curvature of the convex lens r is 1 meter. The radius of curvature of the convex lens r is 1 meter. The diameter of 5th dark ring. They have measured the diameter of 2 rings, 5th ring and 10th ring. The diameter of n is equal to 5th dark ring dn is 0.4 centimeter, and diameter of n plus m, the 10th dark ring dn plus m is 0.5 centimeter. So they have measured diameter of n 5th dark ring dn is 0.4 centimeter, and diameter of n plus m 10th dark ring dn plus m is 0.5 centimeter. Calculate the wavelength of unknown light. So you can use this equation. Okay, but here we calculate what is the difference of the ring number? One ring is given, n is equal to fifth ring, okay, and second ring is given n plus n 10th ring. So what is the difference of the order of the ring? Okay, they have given the diameter of n is equal to fifth dark ring is 0.4 centimeter, and diameter of n plus n 10th dark ring is dn plus n 0.5 centimeter. So the difference of the order of the dark ring is 10 minus 5, 10 minus 5, that is 5, right? So they have measured the diameter of n is fifth dark ring, dn is 0.4 centimeter, and diameter of n plus n 10th dark ring is dn plus n 0.5 centimeter. So what is the they have measured diameter of fifth ring and 10th ring. So what is the difference of the ring number or difference of the orders of the dark ring is 10 minus 5, that is the difference of two ring numbers, fifth ring number and 10th ring number is 10 minus 5, that is 5. So you have to take n is equal to 5. You can substitute the values in this expression. What is dn plus n square? Dn plus n is the diameter of 10th dark ring, that is 0.5 centimeter square, 0.5 centimeter square, minus what is small dn square? Diameter of fifth dark ring, that is 0.4 centimeter square, 0.4 centimeter square upon 4. What is the difference of two ring number? One ring is the fifth ring, second ring is the 10th ring. So difference of ring number is 10 minus 5, that is 5. 5. And r is the radius of curvature of the lens is 1 meter. You have to write in centimeter, that is 100 centimeter. Okay. So you can use this equation that the wavelength of unknown light lambda is dn plus n square minus dn square upon 4 What is dn plus n square? Is the diameter of 10th order dark ring, which is 0.5 centimeter square. Minus what is dn square? Is the diameter of n fifth dark ring, that is 0.4 centimeter square upon 4. What is the difference of two ring numbers? One ring is the fifth ring, second ring is the 10th ring. So difference of two rings number is 10 minus 5, that is 5. So difference of two of the order of two dark ring is for 10 minus 5, that is 5. And radius of curvature of the lens is 1 meter, that is 100. So you will get the wavelength of light comes 4.5 10 to minus 5 centimeter, that comes 4500 angstrom. Okay? So this is the application of Newton's ring experiment, that with the Newton's ring experiment we can determine the unknown wavelength of a given light, right? The unknown wavelength of a given light is determined with the help of Newton's ring experiment. The second application we will take in the next 6th lecture. Using the Newton's ring, we can be able to find the refractive index of a given liquid. Suppose you are given water or glycerin, then the refractive index of water and glycerin can be determined with the help of Newton's ring experiment. Thank you so much. We stop here. So we will ask you from lecture number 1 syllabus for your exam CIE 2 will be from lecture 1 to lecture 5. Okay. Thank you so much.